My lord, I may pardon to mention, my lord.
Yes.
I
I swear that the evidence which I shall give in this case shall be true, that I will conceal nothing, and that no part of my evidence shall be false. So help me God. Please.
Paragraph 7, 8.
Paragraph number না উপরে যে 90 দিয়েছেন সেটা ঠিক আছে।
हाँ 7, 8 देखा paragraph.
Election petition.
Mr. Samantray,
Sir.
in your election petition under paragraph 7A, page 6, you have quoted the provisions of section 33. देखिए दिया। While quoting the provisions of section 33, you have mentioned a nomination paper. Highly. देखिए लेदा। A nomination paper completed in the prescribed form and signed by the candidate and by an elector of the constituency as proposer shall be delivered to the returning officer. ठीक था? See exhibit 1, 2, 3, 4, 32, 33, 34, 35. Respondent.
ঠিক আছে গোটে ହେଲା ଖୁସି
The respondent has filed 4 sets of nominations. In serial number 2, nomination serial number 2, the respondent has been proposed by Abhishek Joshi, who is an elector of 90 Baravati Kotak Assembly constituency, and his name is registered under part 143, serial number 706, and Abhishek Joshi has put his signature in part 1 of form 2B at appropriate place. Same is with respect to serial number 3, Sheikh Alkutaddin Ahmad.
Sheikh Liaquddin Ahmad.
Sheikh Liaquddin Ahmad. Yes, sir. Serial number.
Part number 102, serial number 8 of 90 Baravati constituency se mate 10 करछन.
Serial number 4 re Giriwala Behera. Her name appears
Giriwala Behera
under part 21, serial number 1360
of 90 Baravati Kotak Assembly constituency se madhya signature of the proposer jagah daskat करछन.
Serial number 5, respondent has been proposed by Ravi Narayan Modi. ତାଙ୍କର Part 152,
152
serial number 376.
of 90 Baravati Kotak Assembly Constituency.
He has put his signature at appropriate place. Seventy.
No, the
The respondent, Muhammad Mukim, has signed at the end of part 3 and at the end of part 3A in each set of his nomination.
Part 3 to the signature of the candidate.
Therefore, being duly proposed in Form 2B under its Part 1 and having putting its signature at the appropriate places under Part 3 and Part 3A, the respondent has complied with all the legal formalities in letter and spirit.
In context to the
Nomination.
Miller. In all the 4 sets of nomination papers filed by the respondent, I find that it has been signed by the respondent at appropriate places in Part 3 and Part 3A and italic 3 and the electors who have signed the nomination papers are the electors, are the proposers, the proposers who have signed the nomination paper are the electors of 90 Varavati 90 hyphen Varavati Kotak constituency assembly, and therefore the nomination paper submitted by the respondent was as per law. Where for them? Nomination papers were as per law. Yes. And then nomination papers for in form 2B. Or nomination papers submitted by the respondent in form 2B. Proposers respective proposers. अच्छा और प्रत्येक अलग अलग अच्छा रेस्पेक्टिव ठीक है
देखंतु
अच्छा 4 सेट्स ऑफ नॉमिनेशन पेपर्स रे से जो लिखि दियंतु कोन सेटा जो एग्जिबिट 1 2 3 and 4 ऑल राइट यस नॉमिनेशन पेपर्स रे कर दियंतु हां सेट लिख दो और अच्छा इन ऑल द 4 नॉमिनेशन पेपर्स filed by the respondent hide कर दियंतु सेटी respondent hide exhibits 1 2 3 and 4 कर दियंतु हां हां ठीक है सर
ଦେଖାନ୍ତୁ ପାର୍ଟ 2 ଟାକୁ ଦେଖାନ୍ତୁ ଫର୍ମ 2B ର
माने कहा नॉमिनेशन पेपर
रेस्पोंडेंट
हां रेस्पोंडेंट
सॉरी पिटिशनर
माइन मेल अच्छा सेटा केते नंबर दा गोटे गोटे मते सैंपल दे
EFGH E/2 F/2 G/3 H/3
ये कौन सी गोटे दे सी गोटे धरछे न मते उठे
ଆଜ୍ଞା
nomination paper next page as well. Form 2B লেখা আছে।
পার্ট 2টা দেখন্তু পার্ট 2 of form 2B is required to be used by candidate not set up by recognized political party or independent candidates.
Part 2 of form 2B.
Part 1 ଉପରେ ଆମେ ପଚାରିବା
Part 2টা it is to be used by
candidates not set up by recognized political party and independent candidates.
Okay. Not set up by recognized political party.
Okay.
So also by the
independent candidate.
Yes, Mr. Samatre, what is your answer to that? Yes, part 2 is there. Yes. It is a fact that part 2 of the nomination paper in form 2B is required to be filled up by a candidate who is not set up by any recognized political party and also by an independent candidate. Filled up used to be used, not required to be used.
ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ତାଙ୍କ ନିଜ ନମିନେସନ ପେପର ଦେଖାନ୍ତୁ
କୋଉ ପେଜ ଟା
kindly at the end of part 2
end of the part 2 next page କୋଲଟେ ଦେବ part 2 ଟା ତ କ୍ରସ ହେଇଯାଇଛି କ୍ରସ ତା ତଳେ ଗୋଟେ NB ଲେଖା ଅଛି
ସେଥିରେ ଗୋଟେ NB ଅଛି
there should be 10 electors of the constituency. So that is applicable for them. Not for obviously not for this.
Not for ସେଇଗୁଟାକୁ ମୁଁ ତାଙ୍କ ଦୃଷ୍ଟିକି ଆଣିବାକୁ
ଆଚ୍ଛା ମିଷ୍ଟର ସାମନ୍ତରାୟ ଏଇ ଯୋଉଟା ପାର୍ଟ 2 ଯୋଉମାନଙ୍କର ଦରକାର ଫିଲ୍ ଅପ୍ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଅର୍ଥାତ୍ ଯୋଉମାନେ ନଟ୍ ସେଟ୍ ଅପ୍ ବାଇ ଦି ରେକଗ୍ନାଇଜ ପଲିଟିକାଲ ପାର୍ଟି ବା ଇଣ୍ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ କ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡିଡେଟ୍ ସେମାନେ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ପାର୍ଟ 2 ତ ଫିଲ୍ ଅପ୍ କରିବେ ତା ସହିତ ତାଙ୍କର 10 ଜଣ ସେଇ କନଷ୍ଟିଚୁଏନ୍ସିର ଇଲେକ୍ଟର୍ସ ପ୍ରପୋଜର ହିସାବରେ ଦେବାକୁ ପଡିବ ମିଲନ yes ମିଲନ it's a fact that 10 electors of the constituency are required to be the proposers for a candidate say to me who is not set up by so and so also by an independent say to any copy kari paste kar diyan sir
ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ପାର୍ଟ 2 of form 2B ରେ ଗୋଟେ ହେଡିଂ ଅଛି ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ସାର୍
ମାନେ ସେ ଟେବୁଲ ଉପରେ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ
particulars of proposers and their signatures and after that a table has been given having 1 to 10 serial numbers and having 6 columns. Therefore, to be duly nominated a candidate who is not set up by a recognized political party or an independent candidate is required under law to be proposed by 10 electors of the constituency.
So, the column has been provided in part 2 itself, where the particulars of the proposers and their signatures are to be given as per requirement. Sure.
But under part 1 of form 2B, there is provision for signature of one proposer only, as well as there is provision to mention the details of one proposer by which is applicable to the candidate set up by recognized political party.
Part 1 ne kebol jone proposer.
Jone proposer.
Milord, it is a fact that in part 1 of the
nomination paper in form to be, which is meant for, which is to be used by your candidates ones
Candidate set up by recognized political party. Used by. But what is it? Used by
Nice.
candidate set up by recognized political party.
Set up by recognized political party. By recognized, also by seta kati jane. It is a fact that in part 1 of the nomination paper in form to be, which is to be used by the candidate set up by recognized political parties, comma, one proposer has to put his signature and the particulars of the proposer as per the form are required to be mentioned therein. Sir.
Paragraph 110, ସାରଙ୍କର ଡିପୋଜିସନ ଟା ଦେଖାନ୍ତୁ
110
ସେଟା ଅଲରେଡି ରେକର୍ଡ ହେଇଯାଇଛି କିନ୍ତୁ ତାରି ଉପରେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟାଏ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ମୁଁ ଛାଡି ଯାଇଥିଲି
ठीक है
ସେଟା
110 को बैक करंतु नले मत देखिए पैराग्राफ नंबर 110 ऑफ डिपोजिशन
page 88
Last. 28 ना है.
सर
ଯୋଉଠି ସେ କହିଲେ it is a fact that respondent Mohammad Mokim was a candidate set up by recognized
फाइल it's Indian National Congress.
say, and it is a fact that he is required to fill up part 1 of his nomination paper in form 2B. ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରଶ୍ନ ପଚାରୁଛି part 2 of form 2B of the nomination is not relevant for Mohammad Mokim since he has been set up by a recognized political party that is Indian National. ठीक तो?
Part 2.
Part 2 of form
Part
2.
2. No, part 1 is not part 2.
Part 2 टा तांकर fill up करिया किछि आवश्यकता नै.
Recognized party.
Recognized political.
It is a fact that the respondent was not required to fill up part 2 of the nomination paper in form to be.
Since he is a candidate.
Galla para se jai achi that is there.
And the same is not relevant for him.
The same thing.
Relevant. Not Millard, that is
all right. Yes, next.
ହେଇଗଲାଣି
relevant to what?
କୋଉଟା କହିଲେ?
My lord.
Part 2 of form 2B of nomination is not relevant for Mohammed.
Okay. ନାଇଁ obviously ସେଇଟା ତ ଦରକାର ନାହିଁ ମିଷ୍ଟର ସାମନ୍ତ ରାୟ
Millard.
ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ପାର୍ଟ 2 ଟା ଆପଣ ଯୋଉଟା ଦେଖୁଛନ୍ତି ଏଇଟା ଆପଣଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ହଉ କି ସେ ମୋହାମ୍ମଦ ମୋକିମଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ଏଇଟା ତ କିଛି ଆର କିଛି ଆବଶ୍ୟକତା ନାହିଁ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ପାର୍ଟ 2 ଟା
Millard.
and the same is not relevant for the respondent. Stop.
Sir, I would have paragraph.
Out of paragraph. Separate paragraph. This is 112.
In paragraph 7A, you have pleaded or alleged respondent.
7.
देखना बताऊं confront करान पर
Filed is nomination paper. बोले.
The respondent so much deleted part 2 of form 2B.
सर को लाइन टा पूछेंगे पता
8 line from top.
1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 फाइल respondent so much deleted
So much. part 2 of form 2B in the nomination paper filed by him, but you have not pleaded as to whether part 2 of form 2B is relevant for respondent or is not relevant for respondent in your pleading. ଆପଣ କେବଳ ଏତିକି କହିଲେ ସେ ଡିଲିଟ୍ କରିଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ସୋମଟ, କିନ୍ତୁ ପାର୍ଟ 2 of form 2B whether it is relevant for respondent or not relevant for respondent ସେଇଟା ଆପଣ ଆପଣଙ୍କ pleading ରେ ଦର୍ଶେଇନା.
My lord, this is again prepared by my legal advisors, where relevance not only be as per the Election Commission rules, you still have to strike off. So there, my legal advisors will clarify it much better, my lords.
No, you mean to say, Mr. Samantray,
My lord.
जे ए पार्ट 2 टा सेटा स्कोर आउट करिवार थिला,
Yes, my lord.
टोटली ओमिट करि परिबनी जणे से फॉर्म
Yes, my lord.
as such जेमती अछि सेही टाइप रो दबो, किंतु पार्ट 2 टा जदी तम पई एप्लीकेबल हुए
My
त
lord.
ताकू स्कोर आउट करिवो,
My
जेमती
lord.
आपण भी करचंती
My lord.
आ ये रही छी, किंतु ताकू टोटल तमे
से
ओमिट करि
मोड रे केवल my lord देखैछंती.
हां नहीं नहीं से ठीक आपण सेया ही कहिया चाहउछंती, यू कैन
My
नॉट
lord.
ओमिट
You cannot omit, my lord.
the a candidate cannot omit part 2 of the form to be in the nomination paper filed by him,
Even if it is not relevant for
if he is set up by a recognized political party, only he has to only he has to score it, strike out. Only he has to strike off part 2.
omit जगह में not delete करना ताकि pleading solution.
कोटा
A candidate cannot omit जगह
delete
delete.
कर
अच्छा selection the deleted.
Delete.
Okay. All right. A candidate cannot delete part 2 of form to be in nomination paper filed by him if he is set up by recognized. Only he has to strike off part. Okay.
But this question is relevant or not relevant.
even if it is not relevant for him.
अच्छा, all right. ठीक है. Even if it is not relevant for him, you have strike it off, Mr.
Yes, my lord.
But you say that the respondent has totally omitted it.
Omitted it.
Okay.
This doesn't indicate.
All right.
Deleted
So
it.
it is.
Deleted
All right. I have in my nomination paper.
No, my lord, if it is not relevant yet.
ठीक है, मैं आगे लिखी सारे. In my nomination paper, as shown to me, I have struck off कर दिया part 2. Whereas the respondent has omitted,
deleted.
has deleted part 2 in his nomination paper. So that is the difference, Mr. Samantray?
Yes, my lord.
Yeah, okay.
Even if that is not relevant for him.
Sir, सेटा ऊपर जाइछ माने even if
comparison कर दे दीटा नंबर.
एई दीटा होची तांको भितरे
distinction.
हां.
तो सर का क्वेश्चन थिला जे सेटा इलेक्शन पिटिशन न प्लीडिंग रे नाही.
ओ इलेक्शन पिटिशन प्लीडिंग रे. हां, एईटा आपण मिस्टर सामंतराय एई जो आपण कहिथिले जे आपण कहउचंती एटा रेलेवेंट नुहे बेली जो नथिले आपण खाली लिखिचंती सो मोटो डिलीटेड কিন্তু এই যে স্ট্যান্ড নোশন না বর্তমান যে even if that is not relevant for a recognized political party candidate,
Milord.
he cannot
delete it.
ଏମିତି ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ଲିଡିଂ ଆପଣ ଇଲେକ୍ସନ ପିଟିସନ ରେ ନେଇନାହାନ୍ତି ବୋଲି ସାରଙ୍କର କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଆପଣ କଣ କହିବେ କୁହନ୍ତୁ?
I don't think so. This is again, I will need to, when it was prepared with my legal help, so I would.
Acha, I cannot say whether in the pleading of my election petition I have taken any averment that even though part 2 of the nomination paper in form to be is not relevant for a candidate set up by a recognized political party, comma, he cannot delete the same, but he has only to strike it off. Sir.
Paragraph 7 এটা দেখান তো page 7 10th line from top.
So page 7 was 10th line.
10th line from
1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10.
the part 3. ସାରଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖାନ୍ତୁ
ଦେଖୁଛି
ଆପଣ ଲେଖିଛନ୍ତି the part 3 of form 2B of the nomination paper filed by respondent is also not in the prescribed form 2B. That is your allegation or pleading.
Yes.
ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କହୁଛି but you have not stated in your election petition why and how part 3 of form 2B of the nomination paper filed by the respondent is not in the prescribed form 2B.
କୋଉ କୋଉ ଭାବରେ ଜିନିଷ ଗୁଡାକ ତା ଦେହରେ ନାହିଁ ଯୋଉଥିପାଇଁ ଏଇଟା ମାନେ ଇଟ ଇଜ ନଟ୍
in
the prescribed form ବୋଲି ତାର ଡିଟେଲ୍ସ ଆପଣ ଉଲ୍ଲେଖ କରିନାହାନ୍ତି କେବଳ ଲେଖିଛନ୍ତି that is not এই ବିଷୟରେ କଣ ଆପଣ କହିବେ?
Milord, not I'm again Milord, this advocate
all
will
paragraph pilot.
ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ paragraph ପଢନ୍ତୁ.
Paragraph.
All right. It is a fact that while mentioning in paragraph 7A of my election petition.
My lord, he says I cannot say because
just let this.
Yes.
It's a fact that while mentioning in part 7A of my election petition
At page
at page like at page
7.
এটা কে 7
10th line from top.
Bracket like them. How 10th line from the top. That the part 3 of form 2B of the nomination paper filed by the respondent is also not in the prescribed form 2B. Form 2B, I think them 2B. Comma, I have not mentioned in detail as to why and how the same is not in the prescribed form 2B. Stop. My counsel can only say about the same. Yes.
ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ you have also not mentioned in your pleading what are the required informations to be furnished by a candidate under part 3 of form 2B. ସେଇଟା ବି ଆପଣ କହିଲେ।
Milord, again, this is the same thing. Again,
All right.
Milord, I will need.
I have
Those are prepared.
ନାହାନ୍ତିଟା ଠିକ କିନ୍ତୁ କାହିଁ କହିନାହାନ୍ତି ଆଡଭୋକେଟ କହିತಾರೆ।
କେମିତି କହିପାରିବି?
All right.
If it is in other part,
It is a fact that I have also not mentioned in CU page in my election
No, but
petition.
it's fact. It's some. I don't know. After Milord dictates,
नहीं कौन
it's not a fact
नहीं
that I have not mentioned. Again, this part.
ଆପଣ ଏଇ ଜିନିଷଟା ମେନସନ କରିନାହାନ୍ତି ବୋଲି ଏଇଟା ହଉଛି ଠିକ କଥା ମାନେ
ଏଇଟା ସାର୍ କହୁଛନ୍ତି Milord.
ନାଇଁ ଆପଣ କଣ କହୁଛନ୍ତି
ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି, but
ହଁ ସେଇଆ
other
ତ
parts where how it has been shown by my legal counsel.
ସେଇଟା ପୁରା ସେଇ ତାପରେ ଆସିବ ସେଇଆ ହିଁ କହୁଛି ସେଇଆ ହିଁ ଲେଖୁଛି ଆପଣ ଯାହାଟା କହୁଛନ୍ତି ମୁଁ ଲେଖୁଛି ଇଟ୍ସ ଏ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଆଇ ହାଭ୍ ଅଲସୋ ନଟ୍ ମେନସନ୍ଡ in paragraph 7A. In paragraph 7, in paragraph 7A of my election petition, खाली election petition को that page कर दिया, सत्ती गाना, in double in हेगला कटो, single in को. It is a fact that I have also not mentioned in paragraph 7A of my election petition as to what are the required information to be given by a candidate in his nomination paper in part 3, which has not been furnished by the respondent. Stop. My counsel can only, same money as. Sir.
It is a part 3 of form 2.
Aja form part 3 of part 3 of form 2B.
ସାରଙ୍କୁ ତାଙ୍କ ନମିନେସନ ଦେଖାନ୍ତୁ ଚାରିଟା ଯାକ
ଏମିତି ସବୁ ଜାକ ସମାନ
part 3 ଟା ଦେଖୁଛନ୍ତି ତ
ପାର୍ଟ 3 ଟା ନାହିଁ
ହଁ part 3 yes
ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଏଇ ନମିନେସନ ଗୁଡିକ ଯାହା ହେଇଛି ସବୁ ପ୍ରେସ୍କ୍ରାଇବ୍ଡ ଫର୍ମରେ ହେଇଛି ତ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
my nomination papers marked as exhibits
E F G and
E
by 2
ठीक से कौन
E by 2
E by 2
F by 2
F by 2
G by 3
G by 3
and H by 3
H by 3 are all in the prescribed format as per rule.
in the prescribed form 2B.
Are all in the prescribed form 2B as per rules. Yes.
ସେଇ ନମିନେସନ ଯୋଉଗୁଡିକ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଦାଖଲ କରିଛନ୍ତି ପାର୍ଟ 3 ଅଫ ୟୁର ନମିନେସନ ଦେଖିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ଏଇ ଏକ୍ଜିବିଟ E by 2 E by 3 F by 3 G by 3 H by 3
sir ପଚାରନ୍ତୁ
ପଚାରିବେ
ଦେଖିଲି
under part 3 the candidate is required to give his assent to the nomination.
yes sir
Have you given your assent to your nominations? ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଭାବିକିରି କୁହନ୍ତୁ, ନହେଲେ ଓକିଲ ବି ଚାହିଁଲେ କହିପାରିବେ, କିଛି ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ।
I've written so, it's my assent.
ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ତ? I have given assent
I have given my assent in part 3 of the nomination paper in form to be.
My assent to the nomination, my lord. They can assent to this nomination. Assent to the nomination.
As I have given
Assent to
assent to the nomination
ଜଣେ ପ୍ରପୋଜ କଲା, ଇଏ ଆକ୍ସେପ୍ଟ କଲେ।
assent.
in part
ଆଚ୍ଛା,
3 of.
ରେସ୍ପଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟଙ୍କ ନମିନେସନ ପାର୍ଟ 3 ଦେଖାନ୍ତୁ।
ଦେଖାନ୍ତୁ ମତେ ଗୋଟେ ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ।
ସାର୍
ସେଇ ଯୋଉଟା ଦଉଥିଲେ ସେଟା ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ।
Do you mean to say respondent has not given his assent?
Let me see. Say part টা তো মিলর্ড
part 3 ଟା ଅଛି ନା part 2 ଟା ନାହିଁ।
Part 3 ଟା
part 3 ରେ ଉପରେ question ପଚରା ହଉଛନ୍ତି।
It ଅଛି. I, the candidate mentioned in part 1, assent to this nomination. ଦେଖିଲେ ଏବଂ ତାପରେ
it is not the same, Milord, what I am being shown.
ଆପଣ ଯେମିତି assent ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି, do you mean to say?
No, but is your format my nomination, and this is not the same.
କେବଳ assent କଥା ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ, ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ
A part, where is this part?
part 3
Part
here
3
starts from the here. I ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ଲେଖା I, the candidate.
But then I have filled up, no?
ଆପଣ ତାପରେ କୁ ଯିବା ସେଇଟା A B C କୁ ଯିବା, ହେଇ A B C କୁ ଯିବା। ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଦେଇନାହାନ୍ତି ଏଥିରେ ଲାଗିନା, ଆର ସେଟରେ ଲାଗିଥିବ। ଆପଣ
ଦେଖାନ୍ତୁ ନା,
ଆଗ ପଛ ହେଇକି ଥିବ।
ଶୁଣନ୍ତୁ ଆଗେ ତାଙ୍କର ଇଏଟା ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ।
Milord, you please
ଯୋଉଟା ଦିଆ ହେଇଥିଲା ସେଟା ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ତାଙ୍କୁ, ଅରିଜିନାଲ ଟା ଆଗେ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ସେ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ତାଙ୍କର
ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ସେଟ ଆପଣ ଏଟା ଫେଲ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, ଆପଣଙ୍କର ସେ ପେଜଟା ଉଲ୍ଲେଖ କରୁଛନ୍ତି।
ତାଙ୍କର ତାଙ୍କ ସାମ୍ନାରେ ମିଷ୍ଟର ସାମନ୍ତରାୟଙ୍କର ବି ଥୁଅନ୍ତୁ, ମୋକିମଙ୍କର ଥୁଅନ୍ତୁ ସେଇ ପାର୍ଟ 3 ଟା। ତାପରେ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଟା ପଚାରନ୍ତୁ, ସିଏ ଦେଖିକି କହିବେ, ତରତର ହୁଅନ୍ତୁ।
This part 3. Part 3. The candidate mentioned in part 1 assent. No,
I, the candidate.
I am citizen, but this is again a full. If Milord,
page ଅଛି।
ଦେଖାନ୍ତୁ
first line of
ଦେଖାନ୍ତୁ କାଇଁ
A B C
it is not filled. Milord, it's not filled up.
ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ ଖାଲି
କୋଉଠି filled
ପ୍ରଥମେ କୁହନ୍ତୁ, ସାର୍ ପଚାରିଲେ assent କଥା
ଟିକେ ସାର୍ ଦେଖି ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ। Milord, ଏଟା ନଜର ପକାନ୍ତୁ ମୋ ଇଏ ଉପରେ ଫର୍ମରେ।
ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ
then he can
see the first line.
First line, if you are telling me to see the first line,
don't pressurize like that. He is answering, and whatever he will answer, he will say. He is telling that in my nomination paper, I have scored it out, and that is not the case of the respondent. He has already omitted it. That is his specific stand. He said that as per law, you cannot totally omit. That is his case. Whether it will be what compare with saying you are putting pressure on the witness.
He is badgering the witness.
Don't do that. Don't do that. He is to answer whatever you will answer. You cannot compel a witness to answer according to your choice. Yes, Mr. Samantray.
Milord, this is entirely not the same.
I have gone through the part 3 of the nomination paper in form to be filed by the respondent, and I find that is not in the prescribed form. And whatever columns are required to be struck off by the candidate has not been done, but the respondent has omitted the same in part 3. Yes.
Assent କଥାଟା ମୁଁ ଆଉ ଥରେ ପଚାରୁଛି. Whether do you mean to say the respondent has not given his assent under part 3?
Maybe given his assent to a wrong filing of the paper.
ଆଗେ assent ଦେଇଛ ସେଇଟା ତ ଆପଣ କହିସାଇଲେ.
Just put the question like that. Whether the respondent has given his assent
under part 3
to the nomination in part 3 in his nomination paper? Question mark. Answer. What do you want to say? Tell me.
My lord, I'll just want to clarify further that when a candidate gives an assent to what he has to fill up below that part 3, that assent when he has given, where is the part 3 then?
Part तमने आपण कहउ चंती part 3 रो जेमती थिला एक्जेक्टली जोटा प्रेस्क्राइब्ड फॉर्म सेही टाइप रो करी किनी असेंट दबार थिला जोटा कि से करी ना
जोटा फॉर्म में अच्छी मिलॉर्ड which I am telling, if मिलॉर्ड compares it, these two nominations, मिलॉर्ड
असेंट लिखी चंती असेंट देई चंती, but that is not in the prescribed form that you mean to say.
Yes, मिलॉर्ड.
All right. Though in part 3 I find that the respondent has given his assent to the nomination, but that is not in the prescribed format. Sir.
ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ item A of part 3 की देखो.
further declare and hereby further declare item A देखो. आपन को item A देखो तो ताकर item A
देखो जो इट तो item है नहीं मिलॉर्ड.
it अछि first.
It अछि, but where is it? This is A. I am a citizen of India and I have not acquired the citizenship of any foreign state.
आपन को लिखते हैं.
Yeah, same thing, milord. It was, but the exact form where we have formed the our nominations in 2B, what I am being shown is not absolutely not the same, milord.
Like B pore, let us compare it. B pore, ankoro format rohichi, the strike of bracket lekha AC Roman 1 or so and so. এই জিনিসটা ନାହିଁ, এই জিনিসটা আঙ্ক ফরম্যাট রে
গুটি গুটি কে ଯିବୁ A B C D each and every item shall be attend.
रोमान नहीं A B टा ठीक अछि, but B तळे जोटा थिला सेटा कटा आइछि. Then C Roman 1 रे
ମୁଁ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ A ରେ ଅଛି.
अच्छा A रे अछन. हां A रे अच्छा रोमान A रे तो किछि भूल नाही मिस्टर सामंत.
No my lord, it is whatever you have to fill in that has been indicated by
all right. In part 3 bracket लिख दियंतु रोमान A
under item A कर दो. Under item A कर दो.
small level.
small हां नहीं bracket टा काटी जाओ. In part 3 under item 1 है, ठीक है. हां comma I find that it has been correctly done. in the nomination paper of the respondent.
As a citizen of India, yes, my lord.
Party
Item B की
And
जांच
he has declared that the exact water main road Rohit. And he has declared that he is a citizen of India.
Part A तो correct and wherein he has declared, ठीक है, wherein he has declared that he is a citizen of India and has not acquired the citizenship of any foreign state.
item B की जांच
ଆପଣଙ୍କ item ବି ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ତାଙ୍କର।
I have completed his age. Yes, my lord.
ସେମିତି ସିଏ ମଧ୍ୟ ଲେଖିଛନ୍ତି ଏ ବିଟା ଉପରେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ହଉଛି ଏ
ମିଲର।
ବିଟା ଠିକ ଅଛି
My lord.
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆସେମ୍ବଲି ଆସନ୍ତୁ ଏଟା ବି ଖାଲି କରିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ
Declared the national.
ହଁ ସେଠି ବିଟା କରିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ in part 3 I find that it has been correctly done in the nomination proposal wherein he has declared
That
that he has completed 53 years of age.
अच्छा before item C
ଆପଣଙ୍କ nomination।
there is a instruction दीटा जगह
ନାଇଁ respondentଙ୍କର instruction ନାହିଁ।
नहीं
He has omitted. ଯୋଉଟା ଅଛି part ରେ that's a part of the record।
नहीं ସେଇଟା election
petition ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ C ର ଆରମ୍ଭରୁ ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି strike out CI or CII below whichever is not a-
is not a
Yes, yes, sir.
ठीक था
Before C1,
for item C1
before item C1,
C small c
small c bracketed Roman 1 पर
ନାଇଁ ପୁରା ଦିଟାକ ଉପରେ ଅଛି item C ଖାଲି
अच्छा C कर
C
देना
ଖାଲି
before item C, comma
bracket
there is instruction in
comma
capital letter
there is in अच्छा in part 3 कर देना in part 3, comma there is instruction to strike out C1 C bracket 1 କରନ୍ତୁ
ସେଇଟା clear ଅଛି
हाँ or C bracket Roman 2
below
whichever is not applicable. Stop. Sir.
under C1 the candidate who is set up by a recognized national party or recognized state party for the state is required to mention the name of his party and is further required to declare that the symbol reserved for his party be allotted to him.
C1 taken.
Yes, yes, my lord.
Yes, it's a fact that in C1, C छोटो 1 से जो comma a candidate has to declare that he has been set up particular political party,
recognized political party
particular recognized political party political party bracket लिख दो either national or state and that
and to further declare
and to further declare that the symbol reserved for the said party be allotted to him.
तारी एग्नेस्ट रे आपण को नॉमिनेशन रे आपण कोन लिखता
से जो C1 रे
ଆପଣଙ୍କ nomination
बिजू जनता दल.
stop. I have mentioned, ठीक है, I have mentioned inverted comma भीतर लिखନ୍ତୁ बिजू जनता दल
और सिंबल
symbol ଟା
Biju Jan-
ଦେଖାଯାଏ ନା।
Take care on. I have mentioned Biju Janata Dal in
Item C1.
the gap portion, like in the gap portion in C
Item C1.
bracket Roman 1. Stop.
ସେଇଠି ରେସ୍ପଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ କଣ ଲେଖିଛନ୍ତି?
Election, say, respondent has written that Indian National Congress Party, which recognized national party, state party.
The नहीं नहीं ସେଇ ଯୋଉ ସେଇ particular ଯୋଉ gap ଟାରେ ସାର୍ ପଚାରୁଛନ୍ତି ସିଏ କଣ ଲେଖିଛନ୍ତି?
ଯେମିତି ଆପଣ ଲେଖିଲେ
ବିଜୁ ଜନତା ଦଳ ସିଏ କଣ ଲେଖିଛନ୍ତି?
Indian National Congress.
All right. The respondent has mentioned.
But Milord, the basic thing, sorry Milord, 1,000 apologies, but the format the respondent given is not the same.
ସେଟା ଆପଣ କହି ସାରିଲେଣି ମିଷ୍ଟର ସାମନ୍ତରାୟ।
Sorry Milord.
ସେଇଟା that has been already noted down.
I'm sorry Milord.
ଆପଣ ସେଇ ଜିନିଷଟାକୁ କେହି ନେଇ ଯାଉନାହାନ୍ତି। ସେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ
Okay Milord. Okay.
the respondent has mentioned inverted comma ଭିତରେ Indian National Congress in the gap portion in C1. Stop. Yes.
ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ, you have put a line on the contents available under item CII of part 3.
Struck it up.
Struck it up. ଆପଣ ସେଇଟା କରିଛନ୍ତି।
As it is not applicable to you, being a candidate set up by recognized state party for the state of Orissa, that is Biju Janata.
Yes sir.
I have struck off C2 in part 3 as it is not applicable, as it was not applicable to me being a candidate of a recognized state political party.
ସେଇ ଜାଗାରେ ରେସ୍ପଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ କଣ କରିଛନ୍ତି ଦେଖାନ୍ତୁ।
Respondent पर CII total नहीं.
9.
There is there is no such column.
Item.
It's a change format.
There is no such item as C2 in the
under part 3.
In part 3 in the nomination paper.
Part 3C1.
Part 3.
Part 3 ର C ର part 3.
Look C2, there is no such item as C2.
Yes.
C2 bali kono in part, right, you are right, in part 3 in part 3 in the nomination paper of the respondent,
and it's
he has stopped and he has totally deleted the same,
changed the format of the election
and changed the format of the nomination paper.
Prescribed it, Milord.
Change the format of the prescribed nomination paper.
Item D jago part 3 ର
D
small d
ଦେଖିଛୁ father's name
ଆପଣ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ତାଙ୍କର
ମୋର ଦେଖିଲେ
ତାଙ୍କର ବି ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ସେଇଟା
ଦେଖ Milord
ଠିକ ଅଛି ଠିକ।
ଆପଣ କଣ କରିଛନ୍ତି ସିଏ କଣ?
It's not same again, sir, my senior sir, because it's not the same format. So it can't be compared with yours.
My father's mother's taku lakhijanto, husband's भी lakhijanti name have been correctly spelled out achi, above in English भी achi. अच्छा ब्रैकेट रे गोटे रहिया कथा नेम ऑफ द लैंग्वेज
ओडिया करते ओडिया लेखि
सेटा हां सेही जिंसटा लेखिना लेछि एटा होछि
and do you
all right. Yes, Mr. Samantra, what is your answer to that? D विषय कौन? That you say that whether it is in prescribed form or not.
It is not in the prescribed form.
According to me, ब्रैकेट लिख दियंतु D
item D.
item D अच्छा item D according to me item D in part 3 of the nomination paper according to item 3 of the respondent is not in the prescribed format.
कोनटा बुझो अछि सेटा कहि देन
এই যোটা কাটি দিয়েছেন তো সেইপাই কହୁଛନ୍ତି ব্র্যাকেট রে ওটা রহিয়া কথা
नेम
নেম অফ দি ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ and এইটা কাটি দিয়েছেন
अछि मेल
The format is not the same.
and अछि नै फॉर्मेट
The format is totally changed.
आपण
It's
आपण को
something.
না 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 মিস্টার
That
সামন্ত
is what they've created.
না না মিস্টার ସାମନ୍ତରାୟ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଡି ଉପରେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ହଉଛି ଗୋଟି ଗୋଟି କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ହଉଛି ଏ
Yes.
ଡି ରେ ଆପଣ ଦେଖିବାକୁ ଗଲେ ମୁଁ ଯାହା ପାଉଛି ସେ ଡି ରେ ଖାଲି ଗୋଟେ ଆଡ୍ ଅଛି ତା ଦେହରେ ନେମ୍ ଅଫ ଦି ଲାଙ୍ଗୁଏଜ
ब्रैकेट रे जोटा
ହଁ ବ୍ରାକେଟ ରେ ସେତିକ ନାହିଁ ସେଇଟା ଓମିଟ୍ କରିଦେଇଛନ୍ତି
सेटा मेंशन कर
କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ହଉଛି ସେଇଟା ଓମିଟ୍ କଲେ ତାର ଇଫେକ୍ଟ କଣ ହବ
Milord, when it's not in the format, prescribed format.
लिखले बा माय नॉट
हाँ।
लिखले
ସେଇଟା ଲେଖା ହେଇସାରିଲାଣି
Okay, Milord.
ଏଇ
Okay,
ଯୋଉ
Milord.
ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଡି ରେ ସିଏ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଆପଣ ଏଇଥିପାଇଁ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ସେଇଟା ନଟ୍ ଇନ୍ ପ୍ରେସ୍କ୍ରାଇବଡ୍ ଫର୍ମାଟ ବିକଜ ସେଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ହଉଛି ତା ଦେହରେ ଗୋଟେ ୱାର୍ଡ ରହିଛି
Yes, yes.
ନେମ୍ ଅଫ ଦି ଲାଙ୍ଗୁଏଜ
ଏତିକିଟା
ଯୋଉ ଯୋଉଟାକୁ ସେ ଓମିଟ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ଆପଣ
If the
କହୁଛନ୍ତି
form is not the same, how will it be? correct.
ଫର୍ମ ବି ତ ଅଲଗା କଥା ସେ ପ୍ରତ୍ୟେକ
Yeah,
ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ
Milord.
ହଁ ଆଜ ଲେଖିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ଆଜ ଦି ରେସ୍ପଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ has omitted
डिलीटेड
has deleted sorry has deleted
इन्वर्टेड रे कर दूं
inverted भी कमा भीतर रख दें
ब्रैकेट आरंभ
हाँ name of the language
ब्रैकेट रहइबो नेम ऑफ द
name of the language
ब्रैकेट एल
हाँ stop बस ठीक है हाँ
आइटम ईटा देखा
ईटा रखोगे
ई
That to the best of my knowledge and belief,
ठीक है,
I'm
ठीक है,
qualified
ठीक
in all to discuss.
of this solution এটা ঠিক ଅଛି ତ ଇଏ ମିଷ୍ଟର ସାମନ୍ତରାୟ ଇଟା ଖାଲି ଆପଣ ଗୋଟିକୁ କନସେଣ୍ଟ୍ରେଟ କର
Again, I'm concentrating on it. Again, my same reply about the
ନାଇଁ,
format.
ଇରେ ନାଇଁ ଫର୍ମାଟ ଆପଣ
Okay, Milord. Okay, Milord.
ନାଇଁ ଇଟାରେ କିଛି ଓମିସନ ଅଛି କି ବା ଡିଲିସନ ଅଛି କି ଯାହା ଆପଣ ଦେଖୁଛନ୍ତି ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଇଏରେ ବା ସିଏ ଯୋଉ ଲେଖିଛନ୍ତି ଇଟା ତା ଦେହରେ କିଛି ଡିଲିଟ କରିଛନ୍ତି ଯେମିତି ଆପଣ କହିଲେ ଏଇଗୁଡାକ ଡିଲିଟ କରିଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ତା ଦେହରେ ସେମିତି ଇଟାରେ କିଛି ଡିଲିଟ କରିଛନ୍ତି କି ସେଇ ବିଷୟରେ ପ୍ରଶ୍ନ ହଉଛି ବା କିଛି ଚେଞ୍ଜ କରିଛନ୍ତି କି ପର୍ଟିକୁଲାରଲି କୁହନ୍ତୁ ଇଟା
Milord.
ହଁ ନା ନାଇଁ କିଛି ଡିଲିଟ କରିଛନ୍ତି କି ଆପଣ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଦିଟା ସାମ୍ନାରେ ଥୁଆ ହେଇଛି ଆପଣଙ୍କର ବି ଥୁଆ ହେଇଛି
Yes, Milord.
what has been deleted then
No, nothing has been
Aja,
deleted.
it's a fact that so far as item number item E in part 3 of the nomination paper of the respondent is concerned, there is no deletion. Stop.
सर आ गोटा पैराग्राफ आरंभ
ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ପାରାଗ୍ରାଫ କେତେ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ପାରାଗ୍ରାଫ ଗଲା କୋଉଠି 114
90 Baravati Kotak Assembly constituency is a general constituency and not reserved for SC or ST.
Yes, Milord.
90 Baravati Katak constituency 90 hyphen दियो गोटे hyphen ऊपर कोड छाड़ी जंदी से इतने इसका देबे
Is declared as a general.
is declared as general constituency which is not reserved for SC or ST sir
Again,
for SC or public ST
Is there in my format, Milord.
अब से relevant जगह रे part 3 रो
एसटी कैंडिडेट्स
you have put a line,
Struck it off.
struck it up.
Because it's the format.
in my nomination paper in part 3 comma, I have struck it.
Score out.
I have এটা wording তো কোন
Strike out লেখা আছে না?
I have struck up.
It is strike out লেখা আছে।
I have struck strike it out.
ଉପରେ ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି। ମାନେ ସେଠି ଗୋଟେ ଆଷ୍ଟରିକ ଚିହ୍ନ ଅଛି ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ। I further ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଗୋଟେ ଆଷ୍ଟରିକ ଚିହ୍ନ ଅଛି। ତାର ବିଲୋ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ସରିଗଲା ପରେ ଫର୍ମ ସେଠି ଗୋଟେ ଆଷ୍ଟରିକ ଚିହ୍ନ ଅଛି। Score out this paragraph.
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଠିକ ଅଛି I have scored out. I have scored out ହବ ତାହେଲେ I have scored out. ତାଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖେଇ ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ମିଷ୍ଟର ସାମନ୍ତରାୟଙ୍କୁ
Yes, my lord. Mine I am seeing.
I have scored out the lines inverted comma ଭିତରେ ରଖିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ। I further declare that I am a member of the dot କରନ୍ତୁ caste oblique tribe which is a scheduled caste ଏସା ଛୋଟ କରିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ scheduled caste ର ଏସା ଛୋଟ କରନ୍ତୁ ସି ବି ଛୋଟ କରନ୍ତୁ ହଁ ଠିକ ଅଛି oblique tribe of the state of ପୁଣି dot କରନ୍ତୁ in relation to dot କରନ୍ତୁ bracket ଲେଖନ୍ତୁ area bracket ends sir ଉପର କାଷ୍ଟ ଟିକେ ଛାଡି ଯାଇଛି ସେଟା ପାଖକୁ ନେଇ ଯାଆନ୍ତୁ ସେ କାଷ୍ଟ ନାଇଁ ସେ କାଷ୍ଟ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ତାକୁ ଟିକେ ଆଉ ଟିକେ ଇଆଡୁ ସିଆଡୁ ନେଇ ଆସନ୍ତୁ କାଷ୍ଟ ଯୋଉ ଡଟ୍ ଟାକୁ ପାଖକୁ ନେଇ ଯାଆନ୍ତୁ ଆରେ ସେଠି ନୁହେଁ ହଁ ସେଇଟା ଠିକ ହଁ ବାସ୍ ଠିକ ଅଛି ଓକେ
ଏଠି ଇନଭର୍ଟେଡ ସର୍
ହଁ ଏଠି ଇନଭର୍ଟେଡ କମାଟାକୁ ଏଣ୍ଡ କରି ଠିକ
Last declaration. Under part 3.
Are we comparing only mine?
Score out.
Excuse me.
There is instruction in part 3 below. The score out this paragraph is not applicable. If you asterisk ଚିହ୍ନ ମଧ୍ୟ ଅଛି ସେଇ ପ୍ରଶ୍ନଟା ଅଛି
ସେଇଟା ଅଛି
ଆଉ ଟିକେ ବ୍ୟାକ୍ କରିଗଲେ ଟିକେ ବ୍ୟାକ୍ କର I have scored out अच्छा सेटा लाइंस न लिखिनी पैराग्राफ लिख देन कारण यूज ହେଇଛି वर्ड ହେଇଛି पैराग्राफ हां
score out the paragraph or declaration that
नहीं paragraph word ହେଇଛି यूज ହେଇଛି पैराग्राफ था I have scored out the paragraph खाली पैराग्राफ ठीक है then you तळुक आसंतु हां sir what is your next question
ଟା last declaration ଟା
ये जो
asterisk चिन्ह
हां
No, but may not be, the same thing does not exist in the respondents. Sir, let me tell me, Lord. Let me indicate to me, Lord. This doesn't exist also.
Throughout this paragraph.
नहीं आसीबे सी आपण गोटा देखि तापर सेठी पुनी जिवे रेस्पोंडेंट को हम से सेही पई कहउछन रेस्पोंडेंट रो सेटा टोटल नाही तो आपण कहउछन आ
Milord.
The footer line
it's a created format.
Acha. Instruction below the form part 3 to score out
doesn't mean Milords that you have to take out the entire written content.
Right that
nahi se kamo dita se pen thoichu
nahi
bel lekha jibo bartan
apan da kahiba se
format same
again you are putting pressure let him answer Mr. Samantray
Milords
এই जो पार्ट 3 रो
Milords
तळे गोटे स्टार दिया हैछि लिखा हैछि हां
yes Milords
ऑल राइट इन दी पार्ट 3 गोटे स्टार मार्क देले सिंगल
asterisk
हां एट दी अच्छा इन दी पार्ट 3 कॉमा एट दी एंड कर दन कॉमा इन पार्ट 3 कॉमा एट दी एंड सिंगल से चिन्हटा दियंतु at the
instruction
at the end instruction has been given at the end instruction has been given by putting single star दियंतु से जोटा 2 score out this paragraph, comma, if not applicable, and double दियंतु so दीटा score out the words not applicable. नहीं सेमती नहीं पूरा लगी हाँ this score out not applicable. Stop. Sir, Prashant.
Last declaration.
Since this paragraph is not applicable to him, he has struck it out.
That is your suggestion. So let him put, sir. Sir, Prashant, answer.
Since it is not applicable to the respondent, he has
he can't omit.
Election petitioner. He has put a line.
Please. Sir, Prashant, question ta Prashant.
ଆପଣ ଯେହେତୁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଏଇଟା applicable ନୁହଁ ଆପଣ ତାପରେ strike out କରିଛନ୍ତି.
Score out.
ସେଟା ଗଲା sir ମୁଁ strike ନାଇଁ କହିଲେନି ହଁ କିନ୍ତୁ respondent କଥା ଆପଣ କିଛି ପଚାରୁନାହାନ୍ତି sir suggestion ଦଉନାହାନ୍ତି ତ
ନାଇଁ ସେମିତି respondent କଥା ଦେଖୁ ନା
respondent ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ respondent ସେ paragraph ଟା ନାହିଁ
ନାହିଁ
ନା
ହଁ that is the difference.
It's non-existent. It's not in the same format.
All right. In the form in the nomination paper filed by the respondent in form to be, this paragraph have totally been deleted. ଏଇଟା ଆପଣ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଏଇଟା delete କରିବାର ନଥିଲା ଏଇଆ କହୁଛନ୍ତି
because the format has been changed totally,
which should not have been done, and by doing so the respondent has changed the format. So, yes.
Last declaration that
more ଦେଖୁଛନ୍ତି
ଦି ଜଣ
ଦେଖନ୍ତି.
I also declare that I have not been and shall not be nominated as a candidate at the present general election being held simultaneously to the Legislative Assembly from more than 2 assembly constituencies.
ସେଇଟା ଠିକ ଅଛି ତ?
Yes, but again not in the same format.
No, এই particular line
line has been mentioned there.
ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ତିନିଟା ଲାଇନ ମେନସନ ହେଇଛି ୟା ଦେହରେ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଇଏ ଭିତରେ ଆଉ ତାଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ କିଛି change ଅଛି କି?
ନାଇଁ writing ରେ କିଛି change ନାହିଁ.
It is a fact that in the last declaration in form 3 wherein the candidate in part 3 of form 2B wherein the candidate is required to declare that he has not been and shall not be nominated as a candidate at the general election oblique the by-elections being held simultaneously to the Legislative Assembly of the state from more than 2 assembly constituencies, comma, there is no deletion in the format of the respondent.
Under part 3.
କହିଲା ପରେ ଉପରେ ଅଛି ପରା ସେଠି part 3 to be.
At the end of part 3 of form 2B, ଦିଟା ଯାକ ଫର୍ମ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ଦସ୍ତଖତ କରିଛନ୍ତି ତାରିଖ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ରେସ୍ପଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ବି ଦସ୍ତଖତ କରିଛନ୍ତି ତାରିଖ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି
ନାଇଁ ଦସ୍ତଖତ ତାରିଖଟା ନାହିଁ ଫର୍ମ ହିଁ ନାହିଁ
ନାଇଁ ସେଟା ଆପଣ କହିସାରିଲେଣି ଭାଇ
No, no, sir, in the end, yes.
ସେ ଖାଲି ପଚାରୁଛନ୍ତି ଦସ୍ତଖତ
Yes, I thought it is part
no.
3A. I'm sorry, Vinod.
It is a fact that in the end of part 3
of form 2B,
of form 2B, is a fact, and in the end of part 3 of form 2B, comma, like me, comma, the respondent has put his signature and also the date. Stop.
I put it to you, ଆପଣ ଯୋଉ କହୁଛନ୍ତି that the nomination form 2B filed by the respondent is not in the prescribed form is not correct.
It is correct. It is not filed.
It is not a fact that the nomination paper filed by the respondent in form 2B is a correct one. And as per the prescribed format. Sir.
ସେତିକି ତ
Part 3 ଟା ସରିଲା
part 3 ଟା ସରିଲା next time part 3
Part 3A ତ ଅଛି ସାରି ଦଉନାହାନ୍ତି
ସରିବ
Part
It's a
3,
very small part.
part 3A.
Vinod can
ନାଇଁ ଆଜି ଆଉ ନାହିଁ ଆମର ପ୍ରିପାରେସନ ବି ନାହିଁ
Part 3A.
ସାଙ୍ଗରେ କିଛି ନାହିଁ ଯେ
Lordships are fixed a date till 31st.
It will be taken up tomorrow, obviously. It will be taken up tomorrow. Sir, it will be taken up tomorrow then at 2
Yeah,
o'clock.
Lordships have said every day till 31st.
Because you have already assured the court that to finish it by 31st.
31st. In fact, it was the direction of your Lordship.
That's senior.
29 ରେ 31 ରେ ମୁଁ ସାର୍
ଛାଡି ଦଉ my lord ଦିଟା signature.
30 ଟା ଛୁଟି ଅଛି
You cannot
31st.
It's all right. If you can finish on 29th and 31st, then it's all. Then
copy ପାଇଲା ପରେ
it's all right. So, Mr. Kanungo, ସାର୍ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ସାରିବେ ଆମର କଥା ହେଇଥିଲା 31 ରେ ସରିବେ ତେଣୁ କାଲି ନ ହେଇକିନି ପହର ଦିନ ଆଉ 31 ରେ ହବ ଆଉ କଣ
30 ଟା ଛୁଟି ଅଛି
ହଁ ଠିକ ଅଛି all right. Mr. Samantray, so the next date is day after tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
Not tomorrow, my lords.
ନାଇଁ
ହଁ।
ନାଇଁ
2 o'clock. ଆସନ୍ତା କାଲି ନାହିଁ ପହର ଦିନ 2ଟା ବେଳେ ଇଏ ଅର୍ଡର ସିଟ୍ ଟା ବାହାର କରନ୍ତୁ
So Thursday is the holiday and Friday.
ଦିନ ବେଳା
Yes, assured.
ସେଦିନ 10:30 କାରଣ there is a reference.
long time time
So
Friday,
ଏଟା ଟିକେ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ the elections
commitment ମାନେ commitment
further cross examination is deferred to 29th March 2023. ଆଉ ସେଇଟା ସାର୍ଟିଫାଇଡ କପି ଦରକାର ନାହିଁ ସେଟା ଅଲରେଡି ଅଛି ତେଣୁ ହଁ ଏଟା କାଟି ଦେଇଛ ନାଇଁ ଯୋଉ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଲାଇନ ହଁ ସେଇଟା କାଟି ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ. List this matter on so and so, the matter will be taken up at 2 p.m. ठीक है आज किसी तो मार्क ही नहीं रियलाइज लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग क्लोज
One the guideline.